Welcome to the Mystery and History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow pose next to a car. Known for their illegal activities, they became famous during the Great Depression. This 1933 image captures the couple, who became legends in American folklore as symbols of rebellion. A British soldier captures a German tank crew member during the Second Battle of El Alamein in Egypt between October and November of 1942. This decisive confrontation marked a turning point in the North African campaign of World War II, with the Allies halting the Axis forces' advance. A survivor of Nagasaki, Japan, in 1945, walks through the wreckage after the atomic bombing on August 9th. The explosion devastated the city, resulting in thousands of victims and leaving permanent scars. A woman poses in a futuristic outfit with a helmet and tight clothing, symbolizing the optimistic vision of future fashion. The lunar backdrop, with mountains and a spacecraft, captures the fascination of the era with space exploration. Hiru Onoda Center, a Japanese imperial soldier, surrendered on March 11, 1974, after hiding for 30 years in the jungles of the Philippines, believing World War II had not ended. His loyalty and persistence made him a symbol of Japanese military dedication. An American soldier shields an injured Japanese boy from the rain as he shelters him in his plane and awaits help. This act of humanity highlights moments of compassion even amidst the tensions and hardships of conflict, symbolizing human connection beyond the barriers of war. Hungarian Jews arriving at the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp in May 1944 are led to the gas chambers or execution after not being selected for forced labor. This was one of the darkest moments of the Holocaust, with thousands of lives lost daily during this time. London Bridge in 1890 was an iconic landmark connecting the north and south sides of the River Thames. Built in 1831, this version was replaced in 1973 due to increasing traffic. Surrounded by boats and commercial activity, the bridge symbolized the beating heart of Victorian London. An aerial photo from 1944, taken by an Allied reconnaissance plane, shows the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp complex. This image revealed the vast scale of the camp, including barracks, gas chambers, and facilities used by the Nazis during the Holocaust, a dark milestone of World War II. Anne Frank, a young Jewish girl, was deported to the Nazi Auschwitz camp on June 12, 1942. Known for her diary, Anne documented the challenges of living in hiding during the Nazi occupation. Her story became a powerful symbol of resistance and hope in times of oppression. An innovative helmet from the 1960s featured a built-in communication device, allowing motorcyclists to communicate with each other during their ride. The wreckage of Flight 826 in Park Slope, Brooklyn, after a mid-air collision on December 16, 1960. The disaster involved two commercial planes colliding over New York, resulting in 134 fatalities. It was one of the worst air accidents of the time, leading to advancements in aviation safety. Chief Dustmaker of the Ponca tribe poses in traditional attire in northern Nebraska. This 1898 photograph preserves the rich culture and identity of Native American peoples. Pioneers pose in front of a wooden cabin with a sign that reads, "Wives Wanted." The image was captured in Montana, United States in 1901. The Italian howitzer Obice da 305/17, used during World War I, had a barrel 19 feet, approximately 5.8 meters long. Designed to destroy fortifications, it was essential in artillery battles on the Italian front, showcasing the advancement of heavy weaponry in modern warfare. This 1955 image shows a Cooper apprentice undergoing a traditional ritual called trust. He was thrown into a barrel he had made, covered in soot, wood, ashes, and water. Harry Gardner, known as the Human Fly, is seen hanging from the 24th floor of the McAlpin Hotel in New York in 1922. Famous for his daring stunts, he climbed buildings without safety equipment to entertain crowds and promote events, becoming an iconic figure of the era. A German soldier dives to take cover from a shell explosion on the Western Front during World War I around 1917. A woman poses with her enslaved individuals in Brazil in 1860, reflecting the reality of slavery in the country during the 19th century. Brazil was the last Western country to abolish slavery in 1888, after centuries of exploitation that deeply marked its history and society. During Prohibition in 1929, officers pour whiskey down a drain as part of efforts to enforce the alcohol ban in the United States. Prohibition, which lasted from 1920 to 1933, led to the destruction of large quantities of alcohol, but also fueled illegal trade and smuggling. Chain makers in 1899 were manual laborers who forged iron and steel chains in rudimentary workshops. The Titanic survivors, Marjorie and Charlotte Collier, are photographed in New York shortly after the ship sank in 1912. Rescued by the RMS Carpathia, the two faced a tragedy that claimed over 1,500 lives. A group of people in China in 1850 focus on small objects in their hands. While it looks like a modern scene of cell phone use, the image actually shows individuals engaged in manual tasks, reflecting cultural traditions and occupations of the time. John F. Kennedy's presidential motorcade passes along a road in Houston, Texas. Motorcyclists escort the official vehicles, and cars fill the street. This scene took place on November 21, 1963, one day before the tragic event in Dallas. Two soldiers from the 363rd Field Artillery Battalion improvise a haircut amidst the rubble near Okinawa. The photo, taken on June 10, 1945, captures moments of pause and humanity during the tough battle in the Pacific. Pope John Paul II meets Mehmet Ali Agca, the man who attacked him in 1983. The meeting took place in the prison where Agca was detained, marking a moment of forgiveness and reconciliation. This symbolic gesture became one of the most notable examples of compassion in the 20th century. Nestori Lindstrom, 11 years old, left his home during the Continuation War to help on the Northern Front against the Soviets. Dressed in uniform and armed, he represents the determination of the Finnish people in 1941 during this conflict between Finland and the Soviet Union in World War II. Russian chess players faced the cold in Moscow during the 1950s, dressed in heavy coats and surrounded by snow. A motorcycle polo game takes place in California in 1919. This unusual sport was an exciting variation of traditional polo. Events like this attracted crowds, combining speed, skill, and the enthusiasm of the era's innovations. The construction of the subway at Columbus Circle, New York in 1901 required careful work to dig tunnels under the Christopher Columbus Monument. This project was part of the city's first subway system, inaugurated in 1904, which revolutionized urban transportation and quickly connected neighborhoods. Behind the scenes of the movie Jaws, a special effects technician repairs the teeth of the famous mechanical shark. The photo was taken in 1974. Nurses present newborn triplets to the emotional father in a New York hospital. He appears to faint with happiness as the staff smiles at the special moment. The scene was captured in 1946. A Prussian landwehr soldier is seen wearing rat skins in a shelter during World War I. In extreme trench conditions, soldiers often resorted to makeshift methods to obtain essential materials such as clothing or insulation, using all available resources. Bob Ross, the famous host of The Joy of Painting on PBS, appears in two distinct phases of his life. Before becoming a painter, he served as a master sergeant in the United States Air Force. John Lennon takes a ride with his son Julian on a Honda Monkey bike in the early 1970s. President John F. Kennedy attends a breakfast conference with his daughter Caroline in the White House residential area in 1961. The spacious interior of the Pan Am Martin Clipper, photographed in 1936, shows passengers relaxing in comfortable chairs. An excited man celebrates the launch of Windows 95 in a crowded store. The event, which took place in 1995, marked a new era in personal computing, bringing a more accessible graphical interface and the beginning of the system's popularization. RAF pilot Francis Mellersh is seen getting a haircut while reading Greenmantle by John Buchan in Essex, England in 1942. This relaxed moment contrasts with the intensity of World War II, showing how soldiers sought small routines to unwind between missions. Yuri Valentinovich Knorozov, Soviet ethnographer, was responsible for deciphering the Maya writing system, a significant achievement in the 1980s. Using colonial texts and innovative linguistic approaches, he unraveled the complex structure of the glyphs, revolutionizing the study of the Maya civilization and its cultural legacy. Laurel and Hardy pose beside two women in a casual scene from 1929. The comedic duo, known for their physical humor and impeccable timing, marked the transition from silent to talkie films, becoming icons of classic Hollywood comedy. A crowd celebrates New Year's Eve in Times Square, New York, surrounded by neon signs and falling confetti. This annual event drew thousands of people in 1938, symbolizing the enthusiasm and unity of the era. A young boy patiently waits for his grandfather's birthday present in 1929. This moment depicts the simplicity and anticipation typical of an era marked by family traditions and personal connections, even amidst the challenges of the early Great Depression. Emmett Jones, 12, was arrested along with other youths carrying stolen firearms. Over the course of 3 days, they stole 14 cars from uninhabited suburban homes in the winter. When surrounded by police, they resisted for several hours before finally being captured. Before the Zamboni in 1917, ice smoothing was done with improvised vehicles and manual equipment. In this photo, an adapted machine drags a scraper to level the surface of the skating rink. Workers perform repairs on the Graf Zeppelin during a transatlantic flight over the ocean in the early 1930s. The daring maintenance on top of the aircraft reflects the challenges faced to keep this aviation landmark operational. The luxurious interior of a late 19th century Pullman Palace car featured ornate details, elegant curtains, and comfortable furniture. These cars transformed train travel. A 1930 Ford Model A pickup is seen waiting for a steam train to pass at a railroad crossing. This scene portrays the coexistence of motorized vehicles and steam locomotives, symbols of transition and modernization in early 20th century transportation. Central Park in New York was transformed into a Hooverville during the Great Depression in 1933. Small makeshift shacks housed people affected by the economic crisis. A health officer measures the width of an alley in Liverpool in 1907. This work was part of efforts to improve sanitary conditions in urban areas, addressing issues like overcrowding and lack of ventilation, common during the Industrial Revolution. These measures helped prevent disease. A military parade in Moscow, Soviet Union, in 1940 showcased the strength of the Red Army in Red Square. This annual event highlighted Soviet military power, with tanks, soldiers, and weapons parading, symbolizing the country's preparation amid the tensions leading up to World War II. Zorita, a dancer famous for her bold performances, is seen walking with her pet snake in 1939. Known for incorporating exotic animals into her shows, Zorita defied conventions and attracted attention for her unique and eccentric style at the time. Firefighters conduct fire training at the National Museum in Krakow in 1930. The exercise involved protecting valuable artworks, highlighting the concern for preserving cultural heritage in case of emergencies. An iconic cafe in Los Angeles, built in the shape of a giant cup, attracts customers with its unique design and affordable prices. In 1934, a sandwich cost only 15 cents. Carrie Fisher and her stunt double relax on the set of Return of the Jedi during filming in the 1980s, wearing the iconic Princess Leia costume. An 18-year-old woman working as a street worker stands next to a police car on a street near Red Square in the Soviet Union in 1991. Captured by Peter Turnley, the image reflects the economic and social hardships faced during the collapse of the USSR. Visitors rest on a sofa at the Louvre Museum in Paris after exploring the galleries in 1950. The image captures the contrast between the grandeur of the artworks and the fatigue of the admirers. The first automobile race in the United States took place in Chicago in 1895 and was won by Frank Duryea. The event marked the beginning of car racing in the country, with motorized vehicles traveling about 54 miles in challenging weather conditions, including snow and mud. This century-old photo showcases the impressive tradition of Rwandan hairstyles. Known as amasunzu, this style was worn by both men and women to symbolize social status, maturity, or elegance, reflecting Rwanda's rich cultural heritage. Belfast, 1980. The city was still facing the intense conflicts of the period known as the Troubles, marked by tensions between Unionists